What's going on, guys? We are here. We're going to do some predictions. Why not? I won't be there for the World Championship wildcard. I'll be there for the World Championship main event, leaving August 8th. So I'll be watching from home for the first little bit, but why not predict? Why not get some thoughts out there and see how close we can get to an accurate Swiss stage, which is always incredibly difficult. I feel like for this Swiss stage, it might be a little bit easier to get the grand scheme of things going, because I feel like there is some outlier teams on both sides of the fence. So you expect them to do pretty well or do pretty poorly. So we'll see how that all plays out. Also, best of 7, so upsets are less likely to happen. But, you know, I feel like once you win 3 games, most of the time you're going to win that 4th anyway. So who knows? It's probably about, what, like a 10% difference? I think it's like 10 to 12% difference of winners from a best of 5 to a best of 7. So does that 10% favor favorites? Probably does. Probably favorites come back more often. But hey, what are you going to do? So let's get into it. Adam Core, thank you so much for the spreadsheet. Go follow him on Twitter, Adam Core RL, in case I forget to put it in the description, which is probably pretty likely. So let's get into it. Version 1 versus Orlando Pirates. I'm not expecting anything crazy here. We'll go 4-0. Renegades versus Bravado. You know what? I'm going to give Bravado a game here. Renegades, I'm not that high in them. I think there's a chance Bravado takes 1, but I think Renegades will still win that pretty easy. Like, I'm in dark mode, so maybe the logos are going to look a little funny, but hey, what are you going to do? We're just going to continue through that. Or maybe that's how they're supposed to look. I don't know. Dignitas versus Gladiators, I think also a 4-0. This is where Dignitas will start setting some offensive records. Probably version 1 will probably do so more against Orlando, though, than Dig versus Gladiators in my mind. Space Station versus the Club. The Club is a pretty decent team. Like, they took Furia in Regional 3. They played 3 best of 7s, went to Game 7 each time. Club won one of those. Furia won the other 2. So the Club has a chance. Not a lot of LAN experience, obviously. Space Station, a very LAN-based team. They do much better on LAN than even regional play. I'm between a 4-1 and a 4-2, but I'll go 4-1 here. I think Space Station, there's a chance that they just steamroll it, but I think the Club is a good enough team to take at least 1 game, maybe 2 there. K-Corp versus 0-1. Obviously, 0-1's having a lot of travel issues. K-Corp had some travel issues of their own, but I do think K-Corp is the better team anyway. I think the thing with Mina is I'm a little skeptical about their other teams. So I know they're hyped up a lot, but my issue is, like, they had 9 tournaments to take down Falcons, and they never did it. Well, on the other side, normally, like, these teams from NA or EU, they at least take down the favorites here or there. So maybe that's not the case all the time with, like, K-Corp, you know, beating a BDS or Mice, but I don't know. It's hard. Like, I feel like when you have 9 attempts at it and you don't do it, I'm going to downgrade you a little bit. But maybe that's unrealistic because K-Corp, I don't even know their head-to-head versus BDS or Mice. It's probably not good. They probably don't have many wins either. So what can you do? 0-1, because they're coming in late, I think it does hurt them. I'll go 4-1 here. I think K-Corp will handle them pretty easily just for this first round. Maybe 0-1. Like, I expect them to do a little bit better later. But, yeah, that's what I'm going there. Pioneers, Veloce. This one's going to be tight. I think this is going to be a tight series. I think OC as a whole is the weaker region. But Pioneers are my one spotlight out of that region that I think has a pretty good chance of doing some work. So I'm going to go 4-3 here, Pioneers. I'm going to give them the win. Team Secret versus Semper. Team Secret, like, so, like, when we talk about South America, it's really only Furia. Outside of that, Team Secret had 1 good result versus BDS, but for the most part, they don't do that well in international play. Now we're talking about Semper. I know a lot of people think, like, maybe they shouldn't be here. Maybe a lot of us are Archie. I still think they're solid enough to get this win here over Secret. Like, I'll go 4-2, though. I think they are slightly better than Team Secret. And then Tokyo Verde versus Optic. I expect Optic to win this, probably 4-0 as well. So that gives us our next round results. We got V1 versus Pioneers. I'm going to go 4-1. I think V1, again, a very strong LAN team. Dignitas versus Semper. I'll go 4-2. It's a Europe regional match. I still think Dig. I know a lot of people don't think Dig is going to do that well. I think Dig has a decent chance at making it through as 3-1 or 3-2. So I'm going to go Dig there versus Semper, because I do think they are at least better than them. Optic versus K-Corp. This is a tough one, because K-Corp, obviously, did better recently. Optic is one of those teams too. It's like, they're kind of in flux as a roster, not looking as good. Is this the upset though? Is this the home field advantage? We got to have upsets somewhere. I'm going to go 4-3 Optic. I'm going to pull something crazy here. I'm going to give Optic the win there. Normally, I'm not very NA heavy. I'm normally more European heavy, but we got to have upsets. We got to make this interesting, so we're going to call that one the upset. Space Station versus Renegades. I don't expect Space Station to have too many issues here. I'll go 4-1. Renegades, I'm not very confident in them. They usually have pretty decent scrim results here or there, and then they kind of just don't do anything when it actually matters. So CJ, sorry, but I'm giving it to Space Station. Veloce versus Gaming Gladiators. This should be a 4-0. Team Secret versus Orlando. This should be a 4-0. I'll give Orlando because I didn't give him a win yet. I'll give him one win there. Club versus Verdi. This should be another 4-0 or 4-1. Club is brand new to this. I'll do a 4-1. Just get APAC some wins here. 0-1 Esports versus Bravado. I'm going to call this one a 4-0. Moving on. Version 1 versus Optic. Version 1 is definitely a better team. We'll go 4-2, though. I think it'll be an interesting series. Dignitas versus Space Station. This is tough. Like, Space Station has that land buff. Dignitas clearly doesn't lately. Yeah, let's give it a Space Station here. We'll give it... Oh, let's make it an interesting series. We'll have Dig at least putting up a fight. So I think Dig will look better than people expect. So we'll have him put up a fight. We'll go 4-3 Space Station. Maybe like a reverse sweep. Dig will go up 3-0, and then Space Station win 4 in a row. Moving on, we got K-Corp versus the Club. I'll go K-Corp here. We'll go 4-2. Renegades, 0-1. Let's do a 4-3 here for 0-1. Semper, Veloce. I'm going to give it to Semper. We'll go 4-2. And then Pioneers, Team Secret. Again, we're talking about me. Like, I downgrade those two teams a little bit more, maybe than most. But they could surprise me. So we'll see. Pioneers versus Team Secret. It's OC versus Sam. That's usually a pretty easy win for them. I don't know why, but it is. Pioneers take that one. We got the bottom matches. We actually have 2 regional matchups. Whoops, messed up somewhere here. Tokyo Verdi versus Gladiators. Let's go 4-3 and Bravado versus Orlando. We'll go Bravado here in a 4-3 as well, because why not? Let's get some interesting Game 7s there. Now, Dignitas versus Pioneers. This is tough. Last time they played, it was a reverse sweep for Pioneers, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Dignitas won that series. I just keep forgetting that Dignitas always get reverse swept. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. You know what? I'm going to give it to Dig here. I'm a little higher in Dig. Maybe it's because I do their team streams. But, hey, you know what? I'm allowed to be biased in my predictions. It's fine. You know, whatever. Optic versus 0-1. I still think Optic's relatively strong. They're, like, a good baseline, I feel like. They're just... Like, they're going to put on a solid performance, very good defense, and then they'll just get their counterattack wins. I think they win this. I think Optic, I kind of like them. K-Corp versus Semper. I'll give K-Corp the win here. I'm not doing a lot of upsets at this point. I should probably do more, but we'll go 4-2. Veloce, Bravado. I'm expecting Veloce to win this pretty handily. Renegades, Gladiators. We'll give Renegades a 4-1. And Team Secret versus the Club, the two same teams, battling it out. Let's go with the upset. Let's go a 4-3 for the Club. Moving on. So the Club knockout, a regional favorite there. So we got Pioneers versus the Club. All right, Pioneers. Here's your time. Let's go Game 7s because it's fun. Pioneers will advance to make it to the main event. That'll be the only OC representative because I am not picking Renegades. Sorry, Renegades. I'm going to go 4-0 because I want CJ on the desk, so I want him there as soon as possible. You know, let's just make this quick. 4-0. Get him out of here. And then, the Mina matchup. This one, you could go either way. Let's go Veloce 4-3. A lot of regional matchups. Kind of an accident here, but hey, it is what it is. So let's see what the Swiss results are. Here we go. Ooh, fancy screens. I like this. V1 with the 12-3 record. Moving on. Space Station 12-5, so top 2 seeds. Then Dignitas, then K-Corp, then Optic. I think that makes some sense there. Veloce, followed by Semper, followed by Pioneers. So that is your 8 seeds going to the main event. I don't know if the main event groups are correct or not. I don't know if those ever went public. I honestly don't know what they are off the top of my head. But let's just roll with these ones that are here. Moist versus Pioneers. We'll go 4-1 for Moist. Furia versus Version 1. I do feel like the teams that barely made it into the bye to go into the main event are actually going to have a very difficult time in these matchups because they'll have no experience with this crowd. It's going to be a little bit hard to get into it. It is a best of 7, so it should help them a little bit. But V1's obviously played 3 matches already, right? So I think V1 comes in with a pretty big advantage here. I'll go 4-1 because I think V1 will start off hot and then, like taper off. BDS versus Optic. I think BDS is good enough to win this. I know BDS has been struggling on LAN, but I think Optic is actually a pretty decent pick for them, and I think they can do the job here. We'll go 4-2 because we'll give Optic maybe a couple games early on. Falcons versus K-Corp. This one's tough as well because I do feel like, again, with K-Corp getting all that experience in the wild card, that might give them a chance, but I'm going to go Falcons here with a 4-3. To move on there. And then we got Pioneers, Furia down the bottom. I think this is where the curse is broken. Furia win 4-3 over Pioneers to move on. Optic versus K-Corp. I don't even know if we had this matchup already, which we might have. Let me see. Well, I guess we can look at the results here. Optic. We did. We gave Optic the upset. I think that was like one of the few upsets we gave. Why not reverse it? Let's go. 4-3 back the other way, and we'll go K-Corp there. Moist versus Version 1. Moist's kryptonite, but I think a lot of curses will be broken here. I'm going to actually go 4-0. I'm going to give it to Moist. I think Moist is ready for this, and they're going to do well. BDS versus Falcons. Oh, boy. If BDS shows up, I think they can compete. If they get the win early on versus Optic, I think that is actually pretty favorable for them. They'll be feeling a little bit better about themselves. Versus Falcons. Ooh, you know what? I'm going with the upset. I'm going with BDS here. Because I think if BDS win their first round match, they'll be pretty confident going in. And as long as they can get over that one hurdle of like, hey, our past few lands have not been great, and just go back to their greatness that they are in Europe, I think they are a world championship contender here to win it all. Falcons versus Furia. We'll go Falcons here. We'll go 4-2, so Fury will be knocked out there. V1 versus K-Corp. Let's go K-Corp. Let's go with the upsets. K-Corp moving on there. G2 versus Semper. I think G2 should walk away with this. I do worry about G2 in the first round matchup, depending on who they get. But this one they should win. Just because, again, it's very hard. Slow starts here. Like, I think it's going to hurt Endpoint a lot. I am not favoring Endpoint in nearly any match that they get out of this wild card, no matter who it is. Because Endpoint kind of fell into that spot more than gained it by the end of the season, and obviously losing their best player in Seiko. So I think Space Station can land buff, and they're going to already play a ton of LAN games. I'm thinking of 4-0. I think Space Station could sweep that. Faze Clan versus Veloce. I know people are pretty low on Faze, but like their floor is better than literally anyone else's floor in all of Rocket League. They place well in nearly every single tournament. Spring Major was like their 1/9 place finish, like whoop-de-doo. But I think Faze bounced back here. AJ obviously had travel issues as well going into Spring Major, so maybe that shouldn't play a factor here. Who knows? But we'll go 4-1 for Faze Clan. And then Energy and Dignitas, the two teams that were just crumbling in Spring Split, will battle it out here. I worry for NRG, again, coming into this round. I think they would have much preferred being in the wild card. I think that would have helped them a lot more. I'm going to go Dig. I'm going to go Dig here. I am not favoring Energy. I'm not that high on Dignitas, but because of this matchup, I think Dig could win it there. Moving on to the bottom, Semper versus Endpoint. Ooh, Oh boy, we gotta go endpoint, right? Archie versus his former team, so we'll go there. Veloce versus NRG. Does Veloce get the redemption for the Falcons from Energy in the fall? I can't do it. I can't do it. Energy moves on. I just couldn't do it. G2 versus Space Station. If they both have just won, I think that lessens the land momentum that Space Station had going into this matchup. I think G2 walk away with a very, very close series, and G2 will move on. Faze Clan versus Dignitas. Got to give it to Faze. I think Faze, again, I think their floor is exceptional. I expect them to make it to top 8 because they do it like 75% of the time. So I know a lot of people don't talk about them because they don't win tournaments, but when you look at the average placement in international majors of all 3 majors, no one's higher than Faze. And that includes all 3 winners. Moist didn't make one land. BDS, crumbled at times. So, and G2, obviously, like they've also crumbled at 2 of the 3, right? And Faze, that only happened once. So, sure, I know Faze is, because coming off 3 majors, the 9th place finish, I'm still not overly concerned about them. I think they will make top 8. Like if I had a bet on it, I would absolutely bet on Faze making top 8. Dignitas endpoint. Ooh, this one's tough because at this point, Dig's got a lot of momentum. I worry about an endpoint because they're coming in with not a lot of experience in this major. I kind of don't want to put Dig here, but because of their bracket, like I honestly think it's possible. Dig's making top 8. I didn't really mean for this to happen, but hey, it is what it is. Space Station versus NRG. This one's tough. This one's tough. Energy is one of those guys that if they do get going, it's possible, but I got to go Space Station here. We'll make it a nail biter because why not? More nail biters is good. Space Station moves on. So let's see what this bracket looks like. Moist versus Space Station. Faze versus Falcons. G2 versus K-Corp. And BDS versus Dignitas. So what do we have here? We have 1 European team, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 2 NA? Wait, I'm miscounting here. No, we have 3 NA. I'm sorry. So 3 NA, 1 MENA, and 4 Europe. That sounds about right for what I would do in my European bias. So let's get into this. Moist versus Space Station. Moist take this in maybe a bad kickoff in Game 7. Maybe. Let's go Moist there. Faze Clan, Falcons. I know people are sleeping on Faze, but I'm gonna be pushing for Faze on the desk because I know a lot of people don't think they're gonna do that well. So I normally try and counterbalance that a bit. Like I like Faze anyway, but because everyone doesn't like them as much, I'm gonna push them even further. So let's do it. Faze over Falcons 4-2. G2 K-Corp. Ooh, I feel like we need the double international match. Yeah, let's go 4-1. Let's have K-Corp just fall apart there. And then BDS, Dignitas, I think BDS will be the better team at this point, and I'll go BDS there. Moist, Faze, G2, BDS. Now, it is an NA land, and so far home field has held court outside of Gamerstate. But for RLCS purposes, it has held court. So, Moist versus Faze. Do I do it? I don't think I can. I don't think I can give Faze this, but like Sip's looking pretty good. First Killer's always looking good. If AJ is just like well rested, maybe. And everyone's gonna have Moist in their final. Why not? It's a prediction. If I'm right, I look like a genius. If I'm wrong, but yo, I was just trolling. Don't worry about it. Let's put Faze in the final. G2 versus BDS. I think BDS is going to come in swinging in this tournament. And I think if they do come in swinging, watch out, because I think they could be the best team here. BDS versus Faze. Faze, 2-0 in grand finals. Home court has always held serve, but it'll be dismantled here. BDS will be your world champions. Kind of like a redemption arc for what RLCS X could have been. I think BDS After their long saga, I think they find a way and they take the win. Am I wrong? Probably. Does it matter? No, it's predictions. Why not? Let's have some fun with it. But there we go. So you can expect, don't even watch until Sunday to the final day. It's, 10 days of shows. You know what's going to happen now. So you just have to watch the final day maybe if you want to see some good Rocket League. It's fine. We got a lot of matches there. So we're going to get BDS over Faze in the final. And BDS will be your Rlcs 21-22 World Champions. Am I wrong? Yes, but do I want to put Moist in every final? No. So there you go. That's how it works out. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you at the main event. I will not be there for the wild card, but I'll be there for the main event, so should be a good one. Bye-bye.